Hey everyone, it's Michael from Replica Airguns, and I have another indoor field test shooting video. Today we're looking at the Webley and Scott Valuemax, which is a .22 caliber spring piston break barrel rifle. And I'm going to be using lead pellets today, and I'm going to put some rounds through the chronograph to see what kind of feet per second we can get. I'm expecting just under 500. I did play around with this a little bit before, so check out my tabletop video. I do talk a little bit about the shooting, but not too much. And so what we're going to do is put some rounds, 5 rounds through the chronograph. I should get somewhere between 470 and 480 FPS like last time. I am using 14.3 grain lead pellets, so that should give you an idea. I'll be able to give you an actual foot-pound energy reading at the end of this. I'll average it all out. Right now, I'm thinking somewhere over 7 foot-pounds based on my last shooting experience. So let me get this figured out here. I gotta get that in the right ballpark there. Let's turn this on. And all right, so let's get a bunch of rounds through here. 5 rounds. After I get a chronograph reading, we will put 10 rounds into the target and see what kind of grouping I can get. All right, so here we go. Accuracy obviously is not important at this point. I just want to get them to read. 480, just like last time. Now, temperature won't matter. This is not a CO2 gun. It is a little cool in here. Not too terribly bad, but a little bit cool. Gotta remember, gotta take that safety off every time. 460, that was a low one. Interesting. Maybe we'll hit 470 next time, but we will average these out. $479, so we went from 480 to 460 to 479. So right back up. See what we get here. 474. Okay, so we're closer to the 480, 470. $42. I'm going to do one more because I think I'm going to throw out that 460. Sometimes the pellet might have been misshapen, and maybe the the back of it, the shroud portion, didn't quite seal up, so some air might have slipped by. So we might throw that one out because it was sort of the anomaly. Let's do one more. Yeah, so we were definitely way closer to 480, above 470 for almost every shot except for that one shot. So we're going to throw that one shot out. Again, like I said, it could have been the pellet, something going on with the pellet. Maybe it was a heavier pellet, but most of them were between 470 and 480. I'll put the average on the screen and I'll average out, based on the average, I'll average out the foot-pounds as well for everybody. All right, let's set up a brand new paper target, 30 feet down range, and let's see what kind of accuracy we get. Closer up shooting, I know, but it's about as good as it's going to get indoor here anyways. So I got my paper target set up, 30 feet down range. Again, that's about as far away as I can get in the indoor sea can, unless I position myself back there. That'd be a little dangerous. Maybe at some point getting out, shooting it at 50 feet would be better. I'm going to say this gun's going to be like 30 to 50 feet. I mean, 30 feet's pretty close. 50 feet would probably be what I'd want to shoot things at with open sights, being that it's not, a super high-powered air gun. It is going to lose velocity slowly, or the further out it gets. Using a 14.3 grain lead pellet will help keep that energy higher. So this gun, is good for small pest control for sure. A little closer in, I would say. Don't be shooting too far away. But, 30 to 50 feet should be sort of the sweet spot, I would say, for shooting pests around the yard. You've got enough distance that you're not getting too close, scaring them away. You can camp yourself out. 50 feet should reach out far enough to get those little pesky guys if you need to use this gun for such shooting. So let's see what kind of accuracy we get. I don't really have this sighted in specifically on the bullseye. It's just kind of in there. I might shoot a little higher. We'll find out. I did adjust them a little bit just to kind of try to get it down because it was shooting high. So let's see what happens here. Shooting a little high and to the right. That's okay. What I'm looking for here is a nice tight grouping. I'm not really worried about the bullseye because I could adjust the sights. Oh, I gotta remember to do that. That really throws you off. Just getting used to the trigger. Those look pretty close together. Probably about a ½ inch. Let's see if I can keep this within a ½ inch. That would be nice. Don't forget, there's human error that's involved, especially with open sights. I'm not sure. Might have been in the same area. I think that was shot 3. Shot 4. A little higher, I think. Still within ½ an inch, I think. It's hard to tell from back here. Shot 5 coming up. Okay, a little to the left. That opened it up. Again, we might throw out the oddball if there's an oddball, because sometimes you just have a bad trigger pull or something. Or even a bad pellet. 6. Seven. Yeah, it's starting to spread out. Oh well, I'm doing my best. I think that was that 7? 8. 2 more. Nine. I'm pretty sure this is 10. It's a little harder to count these off when you're not shooting them so quickly, like in a semi-auto pistol or rifle. Would be a little easier to count, but I'm doing my best here. Okay. That one I might have pulled, but I think it's in there. Okay, so I don't think I pulled, maybe the last one a little bit, but all the other ones felt pretty good, actually. Yeah, I was hoping to do better. That's like an 1.5 inches. I mean, really, I should have been able to get 3/4 of an inch with a rifle like this. Maybe pellet choice wasn't the greatest. I did want to use a nice heavy pellet. With all pellet guns, pellet choice is super important. Some pellets will just be way more consistent in terms of accuracy than others. You really need to play around with it. Some just fit the barrels differently. Maybe the rifling, maybe the barrel size is slightly different. I don't know, but it does make a huge difference. I know with the SIG, MCX, and this basically the whole SIG rifle series of guns, they're very picky about the ammo you use, and one ammo from the other can make a huge difference in terms of accuracy and reliability of how well it shoots. So same can be said about a gun like this. You know, I definitely want to maybe perhaps try a different pellet choice to see if that makes a difference, because I think this gun's capable of better than this. It did want a group kind of right in here, about 1 inch. You know, that was high, that was wide, that was low. So, I mean, if we took those guys out, we're still like about 1 inch. So, you know, I think I could do better. The power was good. I'm going to assume we were somewhere in the 7.2 to 7.3 foot-pounds of energy, you know, probably averaging around 377, 378. I'll put it on the screen for you guys. I'm just doing it in my head right now. But decent power, and that's, you know, that's FPS that's going to go down range pretty good because the grains are high. 14.3 grain is a nice heavy pellet, so it's not going to be as affected by wind as much. You know, it's going to carry its velocity a little further than the lighter pellet too. So this gun wouldn't be bad at longer ranges if we could tighten up that group. You know, at this range, 30 feet, if you're shooting for like a shoulder, chest area, head area, neck area on a critter, you'll probably hit it in that shouldery region. I wouldn't want to necessarily do a headshot, not quite there with the pellet choice, at least with this gun. So again, you know, find the right pellets, and I'm sure this will be a decent gun. I mean, it's a nice gun. It's well made. It worked really well. It's consistent for FPS. The trigger's pretty good. It's got lots of features. Again, check out my tabletop review where I go over the specifications and details of what you're getting in something like this. But keep in mind, this one isn't available right now. It's discontinued, but we do have other Webley products in our Canada store, and we do have a whole bunch of different break barrel, spring piston pellet rifles in both our Canada and US store over at replicairguns.ca for Canada and replicairguns.us for the US. So check both of those stores out. For guns like this, air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, pellet guns, blank guns, and other accessories, don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Until next time, take care.